Hello all, this is John from EastCoastArmory.com, and I'm here today with a model showcase video for this 1/35th scale M7 Priest. Unlike my other smaller scale build videos in which those models are built for a private commission and belong to a private collector, this model that you see here is for my own personal collection and is not for sale and or purchase. However, I do take on commission builds from topics ranging from 1/35th scale all the way up to 1/6 scale. For pricing and availability information, that information will be best by contacting me through the email address listed below, which is info@eastcoastarmory.com. First, a quick walk around the model. The model started off as this 1/35th scale plastic kit from Italeri. The model that you see here is the re-release from 2001, and I purchased the model brand new when they were first re-released from an online mail order catalog. The model sat in my stash for a number of years until one day I decided to start working on it. However, due to timeline constraints as well as some outstanding bills that needed to get completed, the model was placed into storage and sat in the back of the shop. It sat in that partially built condition for a number of years, in which it collected quite a bit of dust. About a week ago, I went ahead and grabbed the model, used degreaser to get all the dust off, and decided to complete it. The model itself has its origins back in the 1970s when these Italeri kits started to be produced. The tooling that was used on the model is somewhat outdated compared to today's quality. However, the model is a solid build and assembles quite easily out of the box. The model that you see here is basically built out of the box. However, I did add a couple little modifications to the build, which I'll go over in this video. Being an Italeri Sherman kit, the entire lower pan and suspension is typical for any Italeri Sherman. The Italeri Shermans are unique in that the sprocket, the teeth need to be glued on as they are separate castings, and the suspension, the VVS suspension, is actually form-fitting. If you place this over uneven terrain, like on a diorama, you can flex the tank to the terrain, which will give you a little bit of a realistic effect, which at the time the Tamiya tanks did not have. They were totally rigid. However, when we get to the track, as you can see, the track represented on this tank is the early rubber pad style track. The tracks themselves are nicely detailed. They do have some decent detailing on them for the medium that they're represented in. The track material is flexible, however, is a little bit more rigid than the type of vinyl that's used on Tamiya and the other tank kits that are floating around. Because of this, you will have an effect on these Italeri style Shermans that is unique to the Italeri kits, and that is what I call the Italeri bend. Because of the rigidness of the track and of the form-fitting suspension, when the track is mounted to these kits, the first swing arm and the last swing arm will bend to the tension of the track, creating this little bow that we have here. The bowing that we have here is present on both sides and is a dead giveaway that the model is an Italeri and uses the Italeri suspension as well as the Italeri track. This feature is found on every single Italeri Sherman I have built and I have seen built from other builders. Moving our way up from the track takes us to the model's headlights. On this model, I drilled out the molded-in headlight lens and replaced it with a lens made out of clear epoxy. Clear epoxy does give the model a nicer look. Moving our way to the interior, we'll start first with the main gun. The main gun of the vehicle is a 105mm howitzer. The howitzer itself is the Italeri 105mm howitzer kit, only sans the carriage and the wheels. The kit itself is adequately detailed, albeit a little bit outdated for the type of quality you see on today's modern howitzer kits. The howitzer is unique in that the kit can go up and down, and it can also go left and right. However, I do not like to go left and right so much, as by going left and right you will scratch the paint and finish on the rotor shields that you have here. Moving into the interior, the interior does have some basic detailing. You have some AFV stools, as well as 2 M1 Garands found in rifle racks, as well as some ammunition racks. The kit does supply you with a few shells to mount into the racks, however, not nearly enough to complete the interior of the tank. However, aftermarket 105mm shells are very plentiful and are very easily found in all sorts of mediums, from plastic to resin. In addition to the interior, the tank also gives you a basic driver compartment interior detailing. It's hard to get into focus, however, what is included is the transmission, the driver controls, the seat, as well as the dashboard. The dashboard or instrument panel itself has been modified from the kit original in that I went ahead and painted the gauges and added a clear drop of epoxy to simulate the glass on all of the gauges that you see here. Moving our way from the interior to the rear portion of the vehicle takes us to the rear boxes. On top of the rear boxes, we have 2 what are supposed to be mesh storage crates. On the M7 Priest, to store extra equipment, on top of the rear boxes were 2 mesh type of trays that were affixed to the lids of the boxes. On the kit itself, the mesh is represented into solid plastic. Now, normally on modern kits this would most likely be made out of photo etch. However, due to the old tooling of the kit, solid plastic is used. Now, to save on time due to time restraints, I kept the out of the box versions and simply just added a little black wash to them in order to simulate that there's some kind of mesh work on the molded in parts. The vehicle itself was a very easy build, and due to the new releases from Academy as well as Dragon, this model here is a lot more primitive in comparison. Those other 2 models are vastly more superior and are a lot more accurate than the version released by Italeri that was made in the 1970s. However, these models here can probably be found for not a whole lot of money due to the new super kits that are out. And as for the build itself, it's a very easy build, so I would recommend a build like this for someone who's just out of the novice skill set and entering into the intermediate skill set. It builds very quickly. A lot of the parts are large and are already pre-molded into sub-assemblies, which really speeds up assembly time. One thing to watch out though is on the vehicle's markings. The vehicle's markings are good quality in that they don't brittle up when you put them in water to slide them onto the vehicle. However, the stars are okay and are nicely done, but the TO&E markings are slightly on the large side. They are okay for the job at hand. They're not too overly large, just a little bit larger than what you see on most vehicles. One modification that had to have been made to the USA marking is that the kit had the USA marking directly on top of the 30222 ID number. It's not inaccurate, however, when you try to put the marking onto the vehicle, the marking is too big and will not fit in the space allocated. So as a quick fix, I simply just cut the USA marking from the top portion of the serial number and just mounted it in front of the serial number, as what is seen on many vehicles. And that concludes this model showcase video for this 1/35 scale M7 Priest. If you like this video, stop by and like us on Facebook. And don't forget to check out eastcoastarmory.com for more armor modeling builds, as well as 1/6 scale and 1/16 scale detail components. Thank you.